Hi, I'm Anita Venugopal, and today I'll walk you through the misalignment between the away travel's public philosophy and its internal culture, and whether the new leadership approach under Jan Rubio can realign the company values with its everyday operations. Away built its brand around progressive values ethical, inclusive, and empowering. The promise was clear travel for everyone with purpose and positivity. But inside the company, the experience was far from inspiring. Employees were publicly shamed on Slack, expected to work grueling hours, and managed through fear rather than trust. This contrast between the brand promise and the internal practice is where the cultural misalignment truly began. To understand the root of this misalignment, I'm using Edgar Schein's organizational culture model. At the artifact level, we see Slack messages, rigid rules, and long hours. The company's sports values emphasize inclusion and accessibility, but at the deepest level, basic assumptions, there was a drive for perfection, fear for failure, and growth at any cost. These hidden assumptions directly clashed with the stated mission, creating deep cultural tension. Corey's leadership played a major role in reinforcing this toxic culture. She micromanaged staff, using Slack to publicly shame people for minor errors. She demanded emotional loyalty, encouraged people to work late, skip time off, and post pictures proving they were working. Dissenters were often fired, creating a fear driven environment. This leadership might push short term results, but it's unsustainable and deeply harmful to culture. When Jen Rubio became CEO, she initiated several critical reforms. She expanded parental leave from 12 to 16 weeks, introduced wellness days for mental health, and promoted a private, constructive feedback culture. She also made communication more transparent, holding regular town halls and open forums. These are hallmarks of transformational leadership, inspiring vision, personal development, and trust building. Culture change isn't instant. Rubio's team followed a structured journey that mirrors Cota's change model. First, they created urgency by acknowledging the verge exposed. Then, they built a new coalition with fresh leadership. They formed a strategic vision, resetting values without compromising product quality. And they enabled action by rolling out feedback groups and policy changes. It's not just symbolic, it's systemic. How do we know the change is working? Employee retention improved from 42% to 68. Trust scores from internal surveys jumped to 85%, and their Glassdoor rating rose from 2.8 to 4.2 stars. These are powerful indicators that employees are feeling safer, more valued, and more aligned with the company's stated values. There are four takeaways here. First, external brand and internal culture must align. Second, fixing culture requires systemic, not surface change. Third, progress must be measured and tracked. And finally, transparency is key. Open, honest communication is what ultimately rebuilds trust. Here are the references I used, including Edgar Schein's culture model, reporting from Verge, the Business Insider, and Awe's own published statements.